So Nintendo just released Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, and I have to say, these DLC tracks just keep getting better and better, because once again, this seems like it is the best wave yet. Not only do I not dislike any of the tracks throughout this entire wave, but pretty much all of them are in S tier, with even the lowest on this list still being an A tier. While graphically this wave does seem like a little bit of a step down from Wave 4, I'd say the gameplay and music is probably some of the best in the entire game, including the base game tracks. But with all these courses being so good, there's of course the question, which one's the best? Which is what I'm going to be attempting to answer here in my ranking of all the tracks in Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Keep in mind that, as always, this video is comprised entirely of my opinions and is in no way the definitive ranking. So if you guys have a different opinion on Wave 5 and how it should be ranked, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think of these courses. And if you want to go share some more of your Nintendo opinions, make sure to check out my Discord, which will be linked in the pinned comment as well as in the description. Now, with all that out of the way, let's roll the intro and get into my ranking of all the Wave 5 courses in the Booster Course Pass. And kicking off the list in 8th place, we have GBA Sunset Wilds, or I guess really just GBA Wilds, given that the sun doesn't set in this course like it did in all of its previous versions. If you didn't already know, the main gimmick of Sunset Wilds back on the GBA and in Mario Kart Tour was that the sun would set each lap, meaning that lap 1 would start at sunset, just like it is in the Mario Kart 8 version. However, lap 2 would have the course set at dusk, and lap 3 would have the course in a full nighttime. And that feature was completely left out in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version of the track, and without it, the course feels kinda bland. I mean, overall, in comparison to the rest of Wave 5, I'd say that it's the least impressive graphically in terms of gameplay and in terms of its music. However, that in no way means that it's necessarily bad at any of those three things. In fact, I think it's actually quite good at them. It's just the rest of Wave 5 did them all so much better. Starting off with the graphics, the course looks pretty good. I mean, it's by no means up to the level of the base Mario Kart 8 game, however, it doesn't look bad by any means. The main road texture as well as the skybox do look like they could have come straight out of the base Mario Kart 8. However, a lot of the textures and models outside of that do look very similar to their Tour counterparts, and I'd say overall those parts of the track look very similar graphically to Calamari Desert from Wave 2. Gameplay-wise, the course is pretty fun, it always has been. However, it is really faithful to the original version on the GBA and not exactly in the best ways. You see, there are almost no elevation changes throughout the entire track, except for a few trickable hills towards the end. It would have been really nice to see the course fully modernized similar to Cheeseland or Ribbon Road from the original Mario Kart 8 DLC back on the Wii U. And in terms of the music, I really do like the song for this track, however, it takes a bit to pick up, which is not exactly what you want for a Mario Kart song. And overall, I feel like a different approach would have just been better. If the tempo was increased and more instruments were added to make it feel a lot more full, similar to the Pan Man music remix, I feel like it would really help the track's overall feel. I absolutely love racing on this track, and I feel like it would have ranked a lot higher in a lot of previous waves. However, the rest of Wave 5 just seems to beat it by quite a bit. Hopefully Nintendo does end up adding the setting sun to this course in a future update, however, similar to how they updated the cars in Coconut Mall to move in Wave 2. But now let's move on to our 7th place track, which is Mario Kart Wii's Moonview Highway. And trust me when I say I really want to put this track higher on this list, I just happen to really like the rest of Wave 5 better, even though I absolutely adore this course. And the thing I love the most about it has got to be the music. Now, the main theme of the track is already a step up by miles from the Wii version, which was already phenomenal. But I have to say, what absolutely blew me away was the city version of the track's theme, which, if you didn't know, the course's music changes once you enter the city section of the track. Back in Mario Kart Wii, they used a synthesized soprano sax and xylophone for this. However, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they brought out the whole big band, and it sounds absolutely amazing. Just take a listen. Whenever you get the full Mario Kart Big Band, you already know the track has amazing music. Graphically, the course also looks pretty darn good in my opinion. You can still pretty easily tell that the course's model has been taken from Mario Kart Tour, however it has been improved a little bit, and the textures have been improved massively from Mario Kart Tour. But the lighting is something that you would never see in Mario Kart Tour. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and it really always amazes me how well Mario Kart 8's lighting engine works with nighttime courses. But the main reason that this course is as low as it is on the list is its gameplay, as it's just gotten too easy. You see, the layout of Moonview Highway isn't exactly anything special. I mean, it's still incredibly fun, don't get me wrong, but the main fun of racing this course back in Mario Kart Wii was the challenge of weaving through all the different cars, especially the bomb cars, which, by the way, I am so happy they have returned. But even though there are still cars on the road and the aforementioned bomb cars, they just don't move fast enough and there aren't nearly enough of them. There were so many more cars on the road back in Mario Kart Wii, and now it is way too easy to avoid them all. This is once again something that I am hopeful will be changed in a future update, because it seems like a small enough change and an easy enough change that Nintendo could decide to add more cars to the track in the Wave 6 update. But until then, we're left with a great looking, great sounding, and not so great playing Moonview Highway. But then, moving on to the next course on the list, we have Mario Kart Tour's Vancouver Velocity. Now, going into playing these new tracks, I was really expecting to like this the most out of the 3 city tracks from this wave, but it actually ended up being my least favorite of the 3, even though I still do absolutely love the course. I definitely think it is one of the best city tracks that we've gotten in the Booster Course Pass so far. The other 2 in this wave just happen to be much better in my opinion. In terms of graphics, this course has a very similar aesthetic to that of Singapore Speedway, which in my opinion is the best looking city track that we have in the Booster Course Pass, so that is definitely not a bad thing. However, Vancouver does mix it up a little bit by setting the course in late fall time, which made me very surprised that this course ended up coming in Wave 5, the summer wave. I was really expecting this course to arrive in Wave 6, given that that comes in late fall or early winter, which is the exact time that this course takes place in. And before we move on from the graphics, I just have to say all the different road textures throughout the course look absolutely phenomenal. I would not have been surprised to see those in the base Mario Kart 8 game. And not to mention, the main city section of the course also looks great as well, with all the bright lights against the nighttime backdrop. Like I said with Moonview Highway, Mario Kart 8's lighting engine does wonders with nighttime courses. In terms of music, the course also has a pretty similar vibe to Singapore Speedway. However, it's not quite as electronic and bouncy, and instead opts for some violins, accompanied by what sounds like either an iwi or just a keyboard or guitar. Personally, I think it's the latter, but a lot of people online seem to think it's an iwi, so it might be that. I don't know, the sound just doesn't sound airy enough to me to be an iwi, so I could be wrong, but I have a pretty strong feeling it's just a keyboard or guitar. Either way, the music slaps, and it's a great upgrade from the Mario Kart Tour version. In terms of gameplay, this course also does not disappoint, as it's fun in my opinion from beginning to end. And it's kinda crazy to me that all the other tracks on this list have beaten it. I mean, we are only at spot number 6, and I already have 0 problems with this track. This really is the best wave so far. 2 standout sections to me for the gameplay are the anti-gravity bridge and the ice rink. I could be misremembering here, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time we have ever seen anti-gravity in a city track, and it works really well here. It's so much fun just spin boosting off of everyone as you all go down the bridge, and the aesthetics of the blue lights along it are also pretty nice. The ice rink you'll end up going through twice, once on lap 2 and once on lap 3. And having to dodge the stage in the center and the ice skating Shy Guys is always just a lot of fun. There are slippery physics on the ice here, which some might not like, but personally I think it's a nice challenge that doesn't overstay its welcome. But then moving on to our 5th place spot, we have another Tour City track. We have Mario Kart Tour's Los Angeles Laps. And while graphically this course is a pretty big step down from Vancouver Velocity, this track is just fun to race on. I especially love the half pipe at the beginning of the course. And a little side note, I am so happy that back in Wave 3 they added half pipes into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because I will never not try and go for a half pipe in this game now, no matter how much slower it is. They're just so satisfying to go off of. I mean, they give you full-on mushroom boosts. And the one in this course on 200cc will just send you flying, and it is so much fun in my opinion to try and maintain your drift and stay on the track after you do get that boost. It's just a nice bit of challenge that in my opinion really adds to this track. A lot of other people might actually hate that because it can send you flying off the track, but personally, I just love the challenge. While there are quite a few straightaways on this course, they're actually wide enough for you to be able to chain drifts, which is so much fun in this game. And there are still quite a few turns to mix things up, so it still doesn't get super boring. The variety of locations is also really great throughout this track. It doesn't really feel very samey like a lot of the other city tracks do. For example, you go on a pier on the beach, what looks like a recreation of the Dodgers Stadium, and you even go through a fossil fuel mining place. I don't know what to call it. Somebody tell me in the comments. I don't know what you call this place. I don't live in LA. The point is, there's a lot of variety of locations here, which is much appreciated. Music-wise, this course isn't slacking either. The combination of a saxophone and an electric guitar will never get old for me. And combine that with the synth that's used in this course, and you've got yourself a funky song that really fits well with this course. I know that some people are sad that the a cappella sounds are gone from the Mario Kart Tour version. However, I definitely much prefer this jazzy interpretation. However, I am always a little bit biased towards jazz. Overall, I absolutely love laps 1 and 2 of this course. They are absolutely phenomenal. Lap 3 I don't really like as much, even though it is still incredibly fun. It just doesn't really reach the heights of 1 and 2 for me. And no, it does not have anything to do with the fact that I don't know what to call the place lap 3 takes place in. Somebody seriously let me know what this place is called in the comments. I don't know. But with that out of the way, let's move on to our 4th place track, which is GCN Daisy Cruiser. This course is definitely one of the best looking ones from this wave. I mean, it looks like it could have come straight out of the Mario Kart 8 base game. You can still kind of see the modeling style from Mario Kart Tour, however, the texture work was done incredibly well, and it makes it fit right in with the rest of the base game. And one small detail I love on this track is that the starting banner actually has the classic Mario Kart logo from Mario Kart Double Dash, as well as all the games that came before it, which is not something that we actually get to see very often nowadays, as we pretty much fully made the transition towards the modern logo that was introduced in Mario Kart DS. Overall, this track is just a pretty good time. It hasn't changed all too much from its original version as well as the one in Mario Kart 7, and that's okay. It's always been super fun, and it's just as fun now as it always has been. The Goombas in the pool at the start of the track are also a nice addition in my opinion, as they offer a little bit more difficulty than was previously there in that section of the track and just make it a little bit more interesting. The fact that the tables and item boxes still tilt back and forth in the dining area is also a really nice inclusion. It was one of my favorite parts of the track in its original version, and I am so glad that that feature has returned. It makes it a little bit more difficult to get through that section, and it also just makes it more difficult to get an item from there as well. I also absolutely love the rendition of this course's music that was chosen for the 8 Deluxe remake. All the counter melodies on the violin over the main theme on the steel drums makes it one of the most beautiful songs in the game, and it really does fit this course. I absolutely love it. This course has such a perfect blend of music, gameplay, and graphics, and the fact that that has only put it at our number 4 spot is absolutely insane to me. It's just the rest of Wave 5 is so much fun to race on that I had to put it above this course. And speaking of the rest of Wave 5, we are now moving into our top 3, and kicking that off, we have our 3rd place spot, which is Mario Kart Wii's Koopa Cape. This course is a similar situation to Los Angeles Laps. While it's not the most impressive graphically, though I must say that the underwater section does look pretty darn good, it is just so much fun to race on, especially the high speeds along the rushing river. And this track does something I absolutely love. It heightens that gameplay experience with the music. When you start driving in that rushing water, the music gets more intense, and there's even a violin solo. I mean, listen to this. I cannot express how purely fun it is to race through this track, especially on 200cc. And even though the music calms down as you go into the underwater section, you can still maintain a lot of your speed, and even gain some more of it because there's now a half pipe down there. I was originally a little disappointed that they didn't bring back the full tube with the rushing water continuing through it like they had back in Mario Kart Wii instead of in the Mario Kart 7 version. However, once I figured out that there was a half pipe here, I was so happy, and I think this might be my favorite version of this area of the course yet. Of course, the spinning electric things will be kind of missed. However, the sheer speed that you can gain in this area from going up the half pipe and getting that full-on mushroom boost, it is so exhilarating, especially once again on 200cc, and it is once again just pure fun. And while once again I was pretty darn disappointed with the graphics of this course, I just couldn't ignore how fun the gameplay was, as well as how great the music was. And although, as I've already said many times before, I would have preferred Toad's Factory to get this Wii spot instead of Koopa Cape, I am still so happy that this course is in the game. And yet somehow in this wave alone, there are still 2 more courses that were even better. And the first of these, in our runner-up second place spot, is Mario Kart Tour's Athens Dash. This course is overall just really fun to race through. It has kind of that same high-speed type feel like Koopa Cape does, while also feeling almost more grounded, kind of like Daisy Cruiser. The course also has a much more complex layout than both of them, which is super fun to race through. And it also has quite a few difficult turns that are challenging enough to be fun, however, they're not so much so that they feel unfair, which is a problem that a lot of the other city tracks have. Graphically, the course's main track area looks absolutely phenomenal. It's probably the best looking daytime city course that we have in the game. But the houses in the background don't exactly look the best. They kind of look like they're straight out of Mario Kart DS, or maybe even worse. Their one saving grace, however, is the fact that you almost never notice them in-game, given that the way the camera sits in the actual race means that a lot of the other buildings that are on the main track will cover them up from your vision, and you only really see them a few times when they're going by super fast and you can't notice their low level of detail. The course also has some pretty good music. It's very similar to the Mario Kart Tour version, and the arrangement is pretty much exactly the same, except now it's recorded with live instruments instead of being entirely synthesized, which in my opinion sounds much better. One last thing gameplay wise I'd like to highlight on the track is the very end of it, as it's just a really fun ending. There are 3 paths that you're able to take. The ones on the right and the left can be taken entirely shroomless, however they are pretty narrow, so you have to drive carefully in order to get through them without being stopped by the walls. The one in the middle, however, has a piranha plant cutout, meaning that you'll need either a mushroom or a projectile in order to access that route, and it is by far the fastest because it has a boost ramp in it. And what's super fun about that middle route, and pretty much why I brought it up in the first place, is that on 200cc, you're able to just drive right through it. Sure, you'll spin out, but by the time you finish your spin out animation and you would normally stop, you're practically on the boost panel, meaning that you lose almost no time by spinning out rather than throwing a projectile or using a mushroom to get through that shortcut area. I'm not entirely sure if it's still faster, which is why in the footage here I ended up just going off to the side because I wanted to play it safe. However, it is still really fun, so if you already have a lead, why not go for it? It's just really satisfying to do the trick off of the ramp at the end. But now, moving on to the final first place spot, the track that I think was the best of all of Wave 5. You probably already know what it is by process of elimination. It is the brand new course, Squeaky Clean Sprint. You know how I said Daisy Cruiser was the perfect balance of graphics, music, and gameplay? Well, this basically has perfect graphics, music, and gameplay. Every single aspect of this course is just absolutely phenomenal, and I could race on it all day. The amount of detail in the bathroom that you're racing through rivals that of the room in the Ribbon Road remake from the original Mario Kart 8 DLC, which has some of the most detail in the entire game. Every single thing that you're racing on in the bathroom is made up of something that you could find in a bathroom. There's nothing that feels like it's artificially shoehorned in to make it work as a racetrack. And yet, it still does work. It works so well. And purely in terms of actual graphics, it does look like something that could be straight out of the original Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. The amount of charm packed into this course is absolutely insane. I mean, the walls are the SMB1 cloud texture for crying out loud. And the layout is an absolute joy to drive to. From the start to the sink to the bathtub to then where you go down into the drain, which has a speed effect similar to the river in Koopa Cape, to then an area with a half pipe, which I absolutely love, that goes into a glider section that then can take you to one of 2 routes. You can choose which elevation you go, similar to how Ninja Hideaway works, and that's my favorite part of that track. And then the upper route can take you into another glider section that can take you to an alternate route to start the next lap on. This course has not a single flaw in it, and there is everything to love. I mean, even the music, it is so good. It almost reminds me of an old-timey sitcom, and it fits the bathroom style perfectly. The Harmon mute on the trumpet combined with the smooth tenor sax, it just makes such a wonderful sound. And the whole concept of the course as well, I'm surprised we honestly never got a bathroom track sooner than this. It is such a cool concept for a Mario Kart track, and I am so glad it was implemented so perfectly so the idea wasn't wasted. I only have one singular complaint about this course. And that's the fact that the Mario rubber ducky that you see in the tub isn't playable as a character. Come on, Nintendo, make it happen. Wave 6 is what the people want. But what do you all think? Do you think Squeaky Clean Sprint is the worst Mario Kart track in the history of Mario Kart tracks because it doesn't let you go down the toilet? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, then why don't you press the like button? I mean, if you got this far in the video, you probably did like it. And if you want to see more content like this or more Nintendo content in general, make sure to subscribe so you get notified whenever I upload more new content. Make sure to join the Block Stop Discord, and with all that out of the way, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Jacob with the Game Block, signing off.